Throughout human history, there have been prophets who brought guidance, wisdom, and hope to their people, but few stories resonate as deeply as that of Hazrat Nuh, Noah, one of the greatest prophets sent by Allah. His story is one of endurance, faith, and the ultimate test of patience in the face of rejection and adversity. Today we journey back to the time of Hazrat Nuh, to a world gripped by corruption and idolatry, where the people had long abandoned the path of truth. A prophet stood alone against an entire society, calling them back to the worship of the one true God. The world Hazrat Nuh lived in had lost its way. People had turned away from Allah and fallen into idolatry. They worshipped stone statues, created by their own hands. These idols, they believed, could bring them closer to divine favor, but the true message of monotheism had been forgotten. Hazrat Nuh was a man of extraordinary character. Known for his honesty, wisdom, and unwavering belief in Allah, Nuh was chosen by the Creator to guide his people back to the truth, and so began his mission, a mission that would span centuries. With kindness and patience, Nuh began to call his people to the worship of Allah alone. He reminded them that their idols held no power, that they were merely lifeless stones. He told them, Allah is the creator of the heavens and the earth. He is the one who provides for you, who gives life and takes it away. His words were filled with wisdom, and his message was clear. There is no God but Allah, and turning to anything else is a grave mistake. But instead of heeding his call, his people turned away. They mocked him, ridiculed him, and accused him of madness. They would cover their ears and refuse to listen. They laughed at the idea that one man could speak on behalf of God. For 950 years, Hazrat Nuh continued his mission. Imagine 950 years of tireless preaching, day and night, in public and in private. He approached individuals and groups, always hoping that their hearts would soften. Yet, the people remained stubborn, refusing to accept the message. The leaders of his community, in particular, were filled with arrogance. They believed their wealth and power made them superior, and they were ashamed to see that only the poor and marginalized were following Nuh. They scoffed, "Look at who follows you. Nothing but the lowest among us. If you were truly a messenger of God, wouldn't the rich and powerful follow you?" But Nuh knew that faith wasn't about worldly status. It was about sincerity and the willingness to submit to Allah. Year after year, decade after decade, Hazrat Nuh continued his efforts, but it seemed as though no amount of preaching could change their hearts. Eventually, Nuh turned to Allah in deep sorrow and despair. He prayed, "O my Lord, I have called my people night and day, but they only turn farther away. I call them to your forgiveness, but they cover their ears and persist in their disbelief." Despite his unshakable resolve, Nuh came to understand that his people would not turn back. The society had become deeply corrupt, and only a small group of believers remained by his side. Nuh knew the time for judgment was near. In response to his supplication, Allah gave Nuh a command that would forever change the course of history. He instructed Nuh to build an ark, a massive ship that would carry the believers and pairs of animals to safety when the flood came. As Nuh and his small group of followers began constructing the ark, the mockery from the disbelievers only intensified. They laughed, saying, "Why are you building a boat in the middle of the desert? Where is this flood you speak of?" They could not comprehend what was coming. But Nuh was patient, knowing that Allah's promise was true. Piece by piece, the ark took shape, and soon it stood tall, a symbol of Allah's impending judgment. And then one day, the earth began to tremble. The skies darkened, and water gushed forth from the earth. Rain poured down in torrents, more powerful than anyone had ever seen before. The disbelievers, who had once laughed at Hazrat Nuh, were now in panic. They scrambled to higher ground, but the water rose quickly, swallowing everything in its path. Nuh and his followers boarded the ark as the floodwaters raged. Even in this moment, Nuh's heart ached for his family. His own son had refused to believe and had chosen to stay with the disbelievers. As the waters rose, Nuh called out to his son, "O my son, come aboard with us, and do not be with the disbelievers." But his son, filled with pride, replied, "I will take refuge on a mountain. It will protect me from the flood." But Nuh knew the truth. "There is no protector today from the decree of Allah," he said. Moments later, a massive wave swept his son away, and he was lost. The flood raged on, and everything was submerged beneath the waters. Every living creature outside the ark perished. Only those aboard were saved: Nuh, his followers, and pairs of animals. Finally, after many days, Allah commanded the earth to swallow its water and the skies to cease their rain. The floodwaters receded, and the ark came to rest on Mount Judy. Nuh and the believers stepped out of the ark onto a cleansed earth. They were given the task of rebuilding society, to establish a community based on faith and justice. The story of Hazrat Nuh is not just a story of survival, it is a timeless lesson, a lesson in faith, in patience, and in trusting the wisdom of Allah, even when the world seems to reject you. Nuh's perseverance, despite the mockery and rejection he faced for centuries, is a powerful reminder to us all. His trust in Allah never wavered, and he knew that ultimate success lies in submission to the will of the Almighty. The flood was not just a punishment, it was also a new beginning, a fresh start for humanity. And the story of Nuh continues to remind us that no matter how dark the days may seem, Allah's justice and mercy will always prevail. May the story of Hazrat Nuh inspire us to be patient in our trials, to stand firm in our beliefs, and to trust in Allah's plan. His story shows us that even in the face of overwhelming odds, faith will always guide us to salvation. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life of Hazrat Nuh. If you found this story insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more content on the lives of the prophets. Until next time, may peace and blessings be upon you.